What if the upper moons were actually HASHIRAS? Would they be as powerful as the original HASHIRAS? And what would their breathing techniques be? This is one of the most intriguing questions, and I believe you are curious too. Let's explore all this and much more now. I've created a universe where the upper moon switch roles with the HASHIRAS, and their abilities are completely different. Without being demons, they no longer have regeneration or special powers like blood art. They also don't have superhuman strength and speed. However, with their breathing techniques, they still retain some abilities. Now, they can walk freely in the sunlight. But what would each of their abilities be? Before I tell you, please like the video, as it helps me continue producing quality content. And of course, subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the world of Demon Slayer. Let's start by talking about Rui, the spider Hashira. Rui is undoubtedly Musen's favorite lower moon and holds the position of lower moon 5. As a Hashira, he would use spider breathing, a technique derived from insect breathing and very similar to. As the spider Hashira, he would be able to kill demons using spider venom, much like Shinobu, the insect pillar, who uses poison to kill demons. Additionally, his breathing techniques would allow him to create webs in various forms, extremely effective in capturing demons. These webs would be so strong and sticky that most demons, except the upper moons, would not be able to break free. Due to his short stature, he wouldn't be able to decapitate the heads of the stronger demons. Therefore, Rui would use his breathing techniques to poison and kill them. In terms of personality, he would be obsessed with protecting his family, and would do anything to protect those within his reach. He would consider all the other Hashiras as part of his family, and would do anything to protect them. His appearance as a Hashira would be quite different from his form as a demon. He would have spider tattoos, looking like a delinquent. Additionally, his white robe would be decorated with spider web design, representing his spider breathing technique. Without a doubt, he would be a very strong and skilled demon hunter, but compared to the other Hashiras, he would be the weakest. Curious to know more about how the other upper moons would adapt as Hashiras? Keep watching to explore this fascinating role swap in the Demon Slayer universe. So, who is above him would be Enmu, the Dream Hashira. Enmu, Lower Moon 1, is an eccentric and loyal demon with a deep admiration for the Demon King Musen. But in this version, if he became a Hashira, he would hold the title of Dream Pillar. His dream breathing techniques would be similar to hypnosis, and he would be able to activate them with his hands without using a sword. He would be overly confident and rely solely on his dream breathing abilities to hypnotize demons and make them vulnerable, waiting to be decapitated. However, after incapacitating the demons with his techniques, he would have to use his breathing techniques to decapitate them. Enmu's dream breathing techniques can be activated through a variety of gestures, such as clapping, waving, or snapping his fingers. Whenever he activated his techniques, the demons would become disoriented, lose their balance, and feel drowsy. The strength of his hypnotic ability would depend on the form he used. The first form of his dream breathing would have only a small hypnotic effect, while the final form would have the most powerful effect, which he would use against stronger demons, like the 12 Kazukis. He would be the only one among the pillars to dress in business attire, similar to how Musen was dressed when Tanjiro first confronted him. He would also have a confident attitude and deep respect for Ubuyashiki, the leader of the Demon Slayer Corps. Speaking of demons, an upper moon, depending on their rank, is much stronger than one or more Hashiras. So, imagine two Hashiras with interconnected abilities facing an upper-ranked demon. Surely, that demon would be decapitated more easily than usual, and those who would have interconnected abilities would be Daki and Jotaro, the blood pillar. Daki and Jotaro are the only demons turned pillars on this list who share the same breathing technique, blood breathing. They would always travel and fight together as companions. As the blood pillars, they would be able to manipulate their opponent's blood, having one of the strongest breathing techniques. But of course, there would be a significant disadvantage. Their breathing technique could only be activated if they cut the demon, and depending on the demon, they might not be able to heal. These demons would lose a lot of blood in battle. Daki, obviously, would be the weaker of the duo, with Jotaro being stronger. Their collaboration would be on a completely different level than any other pair of pillars, and they would both play various roles in attracting, capturing, and killing demons. Daki, being extremely beautiful as a human, would appear weak, harmless, and vulnerable to the demon, which would serve to attract them, leaving them off guard and bloodthirsty, ready to try to devour her. But little do they know know that this would lead to their death. And if the demon was too strong, Jutaro would step in and finish the prey. Jutaro would have a very lean figure, with scars all over his body from numerous battles. He would hate demons more than any other pillar, and would take out all his anger and frustration on any demon he encountered. Sounds like someone we know, right? Anyway, Doc, being the beauty she is, would always be dressed in a kimono, accompanied by an umbrella that she would sometimes use as her sword. And Jutaro, on the other hand, being a carefree person, would always work shirtless and with a tired appearance. Now, let's use a bit of your imagination. What do you think it would be like if the upper moons were Hashiras? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading them all. Now continuing, we have Gyako, the water Hashira. Gyako's ceramic skills would make him not only a powerful Hashira, but also a renowned and wealthy artist. He would use water breathing, with techniques very similar to Ju's, but with a wide variety to choose from, both for attack and defense. Gyako would be the only Hashira to carry an enormous ceramic vase that he made himself, strapped to his back. Additionally, he would carry 2 long swords inside his vases, along with various accessories that could help him in battle, such as bombs, shurikens, and explosives. Despite his wealth, Gyako would have a modest personality and place extreme importance on his artistic work, being known as the artist among the pillars. Demons would be afraid to say his name out loud, as he would hold grudges against those who did not appreciate his art. He would hate demons for not being able to see the beauty in the world, and if anyone broke a piece of his art, he would hunt them down and kill them, be it demon or human. No one messes with his art. And Tengu, the sound Hashira, is one of the most interesting among all the others. In the original line, Tengu has a variety of abilities, such as electricity, body growth and shrinking, wind that blows enemies away, and a scream that disorients enemies, among others. As a Hashira, Tengu would have almost the same set of abilities, but activated through sound breathing. His sound breathing techniques would be activated by swinging his swords or thrusting them into enemies. He would be able to execute up to 14 different forms of his breathing, using them for both defense and attack as well as disorientation. And Tengu would be the Hashira with the most forms in the entire Demon Slayer Corps. The first forms would produce sound waves that would disorient demons, affecting their hearing and causing immense internal damage. In the second variety, demons would feel a shock wave when cut by Tengu's sword, and he could also use shockwave-based forms for defense. The third variety would allow him to repel all kinds of attacks using supersonic sound waves to create a barrier around him, throwing enemies away. All his forms would be harmful only to demons, not injuring humans, no matter how close they were. As a Hashira, Tengu would become a highly spiritual person with a strong sense of justice and kindness. He would always carry spiritual objects such as candles, books, and necklaces, and after killing a demon, he would feel compassion and pray for them, similar to what Tanjiro does in the anime. This is because he believes that all demons were once human and cannot control their desire for human flesh. He would also dress in spiritual robes, like a priest, speak very little, and be a mysterious character, always covered by a cloak. And now, we've reached the top 3. If you've made it this far, take a moment to straighten your posture and use your power view. Continuing, we have Akaza, the Hashira of Destruction. Akaza would probably be the fans' favorite Hashira. Being a martial artist, he would fight more with his fist than with his sword when facing demons. He would be the master of destructive breathing technique, which would amplify his strength when activated. Why? Destructive breathing would have 10 forms, each increasing his strength according to the hierarchy of forms. The first form would double his base strength, and the 10th form would increase his base strength by 20 times. Not only strength, but also his speed and healing process would be enhanced. He wouldn't be able to regenerate an arm like the demon, but stopping a major bleed would be easy, making him the strongest Hashira in terms of physical strength. He would also have increased resistance and durability, being able to withstand direct blows from the upper moon. As a martial artist, he would always walk barefoot and train a lot. Thanks to his martial arts, he would have heightened perception, reaching the selfless state and transparent world. Akaza would be shirtless, with a robust musculature and a cheerful attitude. He wouldn't use his sword unless it was necessary for a specific decapitation, as he would have Nichiren rings on his fingers that would prevent demons from regenerating when he struck them. We can assume he would be the same as he was before all the misfortune, a sincere and honest person, always ready to help and protect others. And finally, Doma, the Ice Hashira. Doma would be an extremely extravagant, eccentric, and flashy Hashira, similar to someone we already know, Tenjin Uzui. He would have the ice-breathing technique and would always volunteer to fight demons. Whenever he had the chance, he would go into battles because he loves killing demons and testing his skills. When using his breathing technique, steam would emanate from his sword, and he would be able to use various moves that resemble ice. For example, he could shoot ice projectiles at his target and temporarily immobilize his opponents by freezing their bodies. The time a demon would stay frozen would depend heavily on the demon's own strength. The stronger the demon, the less time it would stay frozen, and the less its movements would be affected. Weaker demons would stay frozen for longer periods, while the upper moons would be frozen for extremely short periods, or maybe not freeze at all. In terms of defense, he would be able to erect ice walls to block attacks. He would always be dressed in royal attire, and would be easily recognizable in crowds due to his flashy appearance. Doma would be a perfect Hashira to fight alongside a companion, as his defensive and freezing abilities would create openings for his allies to finish the battle. And at the top would be him, the unbeatable Kokoshibo, the Moon Hashira. Although it was never officially declared that Michikatsu was a Hashira, he was definitely strong enough to be one. His breathing technique, moon breathing, is the second strongest breathing technique in the entire anime. Therefore, he would by far be the strongest pillar in the current generation. Additionally, he would be one of the only Hashiras with access to the transparent world and the selfless state, which would allow him to fight even some upper moons with relative ease. His moon breathing technique has shown the ability to unleash multiple attacks simultaneously. Thus, Kokoshibo as a Hashira would be capable of fighting multiple demons at the same time, even facing more than one upper moon on the battlefield simultaneously. Of course, he would still retain his envious personality and always strive to be the strongest, but as long as he's on the side of good, we might as well encourage him to get stronger, right? Kokoshibo would always seek out stronger opponents to fight, and would see this as a means of training. However, being a user of the powerful moon breathing technique, he would always emerge victorious in battles against demons, even those in the highest ranks of the upper moon. Kokoshibo would have a very long sword and would dress, as always, in his purple and black kimono. So tell me, which of these Hashiras did you like the most? Comment down below. And if you liked this video, chances are you'll also like one of these two videos I'm leaving here on the screen for you. Go check them out. I'm sure you'll enjoy them. With that said, see you next time.